sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of this senseless. The Jersey Takeovers here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to reaver.one/shop. Sitting here, I got the news on, and just as the show begins, they go through the list that there's 4 states involved with the FBI in the investigation of the Clinton Foundation. It's unbelievable. I'm now hearing I'll believe it when I see it, but I'm now hearing that it's pretty imminent. There will be an indictment for the Clinton Foundation, at least. This isn't even Clinton's email gate. This is the foundation that there was, well, they call it pay to play. I call it bribery. To me, pay to play is nothing more than a soft word for a criminal activity. They're trying to justify and give it a nice soft word. It was a pay to play, not bribery. Not the it was pay to play. I also just noticed it's 77 degrees. Nice, beautiful day here in Tampa, Florida. We have 5 days to the election. Hold on one second. And everybody, I want to welcome. We have BZ on the show today. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Good morning. Well, okay. Is it still morning? Yes, it is.
Well,
it's still morning. All right. Good morning.
It's, right on that cusp of hitting afternoon, still morning. So, after morning, I don't know.
Well, have you seen anything crazier in the past weekend than all the stuff that's occurred? I don't think I have. Not recently.
Well, we have a baseball team that's won the world championship after 108 years.
Oh, my God, I even forgot about that. How did that happen?
And then you also, take it back. Cleveland Cavaliers won a championship just a couple months ago. I don't think they've ever won a NBA. I don't think Cleveland's ever had a championship in that town till then.
No, I don't think so either. God, how could I have forgotten about the Cubs last night? It was so bizarre because we're doing Sackheads Radio, and Sean is sitting over there by the board, and he's giving us all the stuff that's going on with the Cubs, and we're all saying to ourselves, well, there must be maybe all of 3 people that are listening to the radio show right now because everybody else is watching the Cubs.
Oh.
And then Then it got rained out. Then we thought, oh my God, then it's going to stop. What the hell will happen? It was a crazy game.
If I was the Cleveland Indians, I would be screaming that global warming screwed them and cost them the championship.
Yes, that would be a perfect excuse.
The game was going good until that rain hit. But here's also a new fact that just came up. The World Series ratings dethroned Sunday Night Football.
Really?
Oh, I think NFL is in more trouble than they're letting on. Their ratings have dropped faster than Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office.
It's funny you should mention that, and I was thinking about writing something on that. I watch a lot of the news aggregators, and then some of the news and whatnot. Also, a lot of news from the UK, and the past two articles that I've seen, just in the time span of roughly a week, have said both that the NFL is losing. They're really hemorrhaging viewers, and it's all been in the span of 1 year since they've been taking this, and it's still relatively early in the season. And initially, the articles were saying things like, well, it's the election, or it's tidal pull, or it's sunspots.
Yeah.
It's solar flares. That's it. That's what it must be.
I'm going to back it up.
They're starting to come around just a bit. And I have to say, quite frankly, this year I have not watched one NFL game from beginning to end.
I've watched like one or two, to be honest, because I don't get to watch Eagles games that often, and they've had two national games, so I don't want to say start to finish either. I don't think I watched start to finish, but I did watch some of the games for the Eagles. I'm going to go even further that the downfall of the NFL started last year for them, when they started giving in to the social justice warriors on everything. Adrian Peterson getting suspended because he basically spanked his kid and used a switch. I'm sorry, we allow parents to go back to using switches. Maybe we'll have some kids that have some respect. But I think it started last year, people getting tired of this social justice, butterflies and candy canes, and everybody's got to be nice, and we got to watch the hits, and we got to be nice to each other. It started then, and then with Kaepernick, it just exploded. People got tired of it.
With me, frankly, it began with Kaepernick, and then when Kaepernick resonated with lots of other people, at that point, I said, I believe, unlike baseball, if I'm not mistaken, you would probably know, does not baseball have some kind of a regulation where basically all the teams will stand during the anthem, and that's that.
Actually, I think it's basketball that has that in the rules.
Or is it basketball?
I think it's basketball. Well, I'm not a big football, I'm not a big baseball fan. I'm a huge hockey fan. And I think that's the last sport you will see anybody not stand. And yes, you do have several black players in hockey. It's very diverse within hockey on nationalities. And I don't think you'll see a single person not stand up for a national anthem. And I just don't understand a business that's made God knows how many millionaires of minority, and those same minorities are going to stand up and scream about oppression. And that's it. Just
to a degree, I kind of understand what the NFL. Well, the NFL sort of, in its own way, got itself where it is now. Let's see. I think the newest percentage is about anywhere from 67 to 68% of the NFL is black. That's their contingent. That is essentially their player base. However, that's fine. That's all well and good. It just happens. Okay, they get the people that play the best. Understood. Can't dispute that whatsoever. But here's the deal. It's generally male-driven, and it's generally driven by people who are interested in contact sports, and it's not driven by politics. And I think what they fail to understand is, yes, they have to play to their player base, but it would seem that they have forgotten a great deal about their viewer base. And people are saying that, well, particularly with regard to Colin Kaepernick, you're removing his freedoms. No, I'm not removing his freedoms. He's free to do whatever it is that he wishes. If his team wishes to support him, if the NFL wishes to support him, if the NFL wishes to take Blue Lives Matter or little decals in sympathy with the Dallas officers who were shot from their helmets, and if the NFL says you can't do that, well, that's all fine. That's all well and good. That's the NFL. And if they want to continue to support people with, like Colin Kaepernick, with like minds, they can certainly do that. And I shan't stand in their way at all. On the other hand, they do have those freedoms. I also have freedoms.
Yep.
My freedom includes not watching if I so decide to, and making a stand with regard that. It used to be that sports were one of the last places that one would go for any kind of input on politics.
Yeah.
When I want to watch sports, I want to watch sports. I don't want to be politicized.
And that's a majority of what it is. There's people that agree with what Kaepernick has to say, but they want to watch football, not a political talk. And I think our political realm overall for this whole election has burned a lot of people out, because this election started realistically 2 years ago. And people are just so tired of all the political talk and all this social. I hate using the term social justice, because it's not, but it gets jammed down everybody's throat so much they just want a escape and watch football, and they're getting breaking into that, and it's pissing people off. They don't want to deal with it. They want an escape. But you were talking that he has a right to do that. Well, sort of yes and sort of no, because that's his job. There's not many jobs you can go to and protest and make your company look bad where you're not going to get your ass fired in a heartbeat. And I get tired of these players. They think they're these prissies and everything revolves around them. No, you are an employee. And you make the company look bad. I mean, these teams are companies no matter which way you look at it. You know, NFL loves to push it around that they are technically a company, and, you know, when it comes to their side. When it comes to the military events that they hold, it's not the NFL. I think that's the other one that pissed a lot of people off when that came out. Everybody thought that the NFL was like, oh, yeah, we're so pro-military, we're pro-this, that we do these memorials, we do these little events. Now we're finding out that people, groups, and the military actually had to pay the NFL to do those events, to do those, halftime shows in honor of our military. It wasn't the NFL. They didn't want to do it. They got paid to do it. And that
interesting.
One, go ahead.
Interesting point, then.
I know it pissed my dad off big time when he heard about that, because he was always proud that the NFL would do all these, the flyovers. They had the flag out there with all the military personnel. They were always honoring the military personnel. And now it comes out that they were forced getting paid to do all that. They were forcing people to pay them to do it. When the whole time everybody thought it was the NFL opening their hearts and arms to Americans' greatest. No, they were getting a paycheck to do it. And that pisses me off big time when you disrespect the military like that.
Well, perhaps I should have readjusted my statement. My statement should have been more appropriately like this. With regard to the NFL, it depends on what, and yes, you're completely right, it depends on what your contract says.
Yeah.
Now, if contractually your contract says you will stand with your hand over your heart during the national anthem, and he doesn't, then yes, he's in violation of his contract, and he's lost whatever rights he had if he willingly signed the contract. It's an if-then clause. If you sign the contract and obey the contract, then we will pay you the agreed-upon sum per year that evidently they think you're worth in terms of negotiations. So, yes, perhaps I should have revamped my statement like that.
It's I mean, even if they don't, and it's just my opinion, don't get me wrong, it's my opinion, but even if they don't have a clause in there, if you make your company look bad, whoever you work for, you piss the boss off and it costs money out of his pocket, you could bet you're going to get fired. I mean, I've lost plenty of jobs due to stupidity and making the company look bad, and you're gone. They're lucky they have contracts that kind of help them with job security. Most your everyday people don't have that ability to do that.
No, nor do they make multi-million-dollar contracts.
No, and that's what really ticks me off. You got a guy that's making several $1 million to play a game, complain about oppression. It doesn't add up for me. It really doesn't. And I'll probably get lambasted because I don't have a problem with the Muslim religion as a whole. I don't. I can't believe that a whole religion is, bad. Maybe I'm being naive on that point. But we didn't hear about all this until he gets engaged to a woman that is a leader in the Black Lives Movement, and he converts over to being Muslim, and now all of a sudden all these extreme views come to life. It sounds like somebody was a little weak-minded and got pushed into a fight that he's losing.
I wasn't aware of that, but that also is a bit of an interesting point. Say, tell me, what were you going to speak about today? Because there's so much going on.
Much.
Where would you start?
Well, actually, I just came across an article, and I remember you guys were talking about it on Sackhead's radio last night, the Sackhead radio show. They're now saying it's a 99% chance foreign agencies breached Clinton's server. Now they're sure that there was a breach, and just a couple months ago, they said they thought it got breached, but they didn't have any evidence. So to say 99% sure, now they have evidence of a breach. That would be my take on it.
The last article that I read about that indicated that even back in 2011, if I'm not mistaken, there were 10 to 11 separate hacks that occurred in those servers in the span of 2 days, even back in 2011. And the person that was running her IT at the time, whose name escapes me, was an individual who did, in fact, report up the chain to her, and she made the critical decision that she was going to keep things as they were. So it's no great shakes when you're told originally to have a state.gov server and to use what's already provided to you by the American taxpayer, and then you decide that you're going to go independent. There's only one reason to have done that, period, end of statement, and that's to shield the information that you were exchanging in emails, plain and simple.
Well, if our government email servers are getting hacked, it does not surprise me one bit that Hillary's homebrew in the bathroom email server was getting hacked. I mean, one had security, one had a flushing toilet. I'm not surprised. And for her to sit there and talk about security is the biggest joke to me. And I hate to jump, but you guys were also talking about how that surprised that she still has people supporting her. I think it was Clint that was saying, Sackhead Clint was saying that. And Bill Mathers summed it up perfectly, that he doesn't care if Hillary Clinton had John Benet Ramsey's body, her corpse, in her basement. He would still vote for her. They don't care that she broke the law. They don't care about any of that. It's politics over a reasonable government.
Well, if you vote for Hillary Clinton, or you decide that you're too good to vote for Donald Trump and you're just going to stay home, those obviously are individual choices that you're making. And those people that say what I'm about to say is ridiculous, I don't know what to reply to them. And what I'm about to say is this: if you stay home, if you decide that you're simply going to vote down ticket information, then thank you very much. You've helped to elect Hillary Clinton. And if you really enjoy what's going on right now in D.C., then you're going to love what's coming January 22nd of next year, when Hillary Clinton is sworn in an election. I'm not a young man by any stretch of the imagination, but in my 7 decades on the planet, all I can say is that I have never seen an election this, a candidate, I should say, this challenged in terms of truth and investigation, and a candidate as absolutely rife, like a terrible lymphoma with corruption. Everything she touches is corrupt. And it began in the 80s. She and her husband have both been corrupt since the 80s. It's a marriage of convenience only. I mean, if it works for them, fine. But on the other hand, keep my damn dollars out of your marriage. Whatever you want to do in your marriage is fine. You're both consenting adults. But stay out of politics. If you want to screw each other over, that's fine. If you want to step out with each other, nifty, peachy, you can go ahead and do that. Leave the American taxpayer out of it. But the corruption that's involved in this, as I wrote, this is worthy of a RICO investigation.
Yeah.
They are.
I've been saying that for
racketeer-influenced, corrupt organization.
Yeah. It's and I think the whole Democrat Party, not because I'm backing the Republicans right now, that has nothing to do with it. I mean, part of the reasons that I will not even look at a Democrat right now is because I think that whole organization needs to be investigated for criminal activity. I mean, it is sad when my 13-year-old daughter is held to a higher standard than these politicians. Going from passing answers and questions back and forth, these people are making millions of dollars somehow on a $175,000 salary. And that's for the Congress. As the president, you make, $450,000 a year now? I mean, how did Obama go in office not even worth $1 million, and now he's well over $10 million 8 years later on a job that pays you less than $500,000 a year?
Oh, come on now, Jersey Joe. Don't you realize he's a stellar author? He's authored a book. You see, you're denigrating poor Mr. Obama. He's a winner about 35 seconds after he stepped into the office, he is now, bing, a winner of a Nobel Peace Prize. Well, he droned the shite out of the Middle East, but he's still worthy of a Nobel Peace Prize. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, the man got a Nobel Peace Prize, and he's bombed more countries, almost double the amount of countries than Bush.
Well, yes, and he's responsible for the takedown of Muammar Gaddafi. He's responsible for the creation of ISIS. He's turned the Middle East into a flaming cauldron, upside down. He's shaken all the sand particles and strewn them out into the Middle East. Yes, he's certainly worthy of a Nobel Peace Prize.
So basically what they said is they're giving him a prize for being black and being voted. He's not the first black leader. He won't be the last black leader. It is what also really amazes me is he went on a tirade yesterday and basically chastised men and called us sexist because we're not voting for Hillary. But wouldn't that make him sexist because he beat Hillary in 2008 and he talked about how you had to vote for him? So he's guilty of being sexist?
Well, and he's also trotting out the phrase that if you don't vote for Hillary, the fate of the world is at risk. Well, yes, he is right. If you do vote for Hillary, the fate of the world is at risk because you're going to get exactly what's occurring in the Obama administration, only more buttery good corruption.
Well, what else did he say? They have to finish what they started 8 years ago, vote Hillary?
Right, because we have not been sufficiently fleeced yet by all the lovely, understanding, tolerant people in D.C. We have not had a sufficient amount of our freedoms removed, and we haven't had nearly enough regulations enacted against us.
Exactly. Hillary has said it herself. The government has the right to regulate all of our constitutional amendments. It wasn't even a discussion on specifically, I think it was the discussion on the Second Amendment, but she said the government has a right to regulate all of our constitutional rights. And that's scary as hell.
Well, it's that Constitution, those Bill of Rights, that pesky little document that stands in the way of absolute control.
It's friggin' scary as hell. Listen, we got to go to break, and then we'll continue the conversation right after it. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Network, Ren Nation Rising Radio, YouTube Speaker, and iTunes. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show with your host, myself, Jersey Joe, and we are honored to have Beezy here today. And we're going to try to make sense out of the senseless. And the Jersey Takeover is here, and we have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And every time I say that, on my Wednesday night show, Southside Mutts, my partner busts my chops because he said the Takeover is already here. Why do I keep explaining it? I got to come up with a better tagline for that and rewrite it, because every time I say that nowadays, I got his grating voice in the back of my head.
Well, you are in fact making sense out of the senseless. Those are facts and evidence.
I owe Kel for that, because she came up with that and told me, here, go ahead, use it, and I was shocked someone did something so nice like that, because I was like, holy shit, that makes perfect sense. She's like, yeah, you can have it. I'm like, really?
Well, at least she doesn't charge you 25 cents for every time you say it.
That's what I was expecting her to say. I mean, not that she's like that type of person, just someone. Most people nowadays don't do nice things for each other like that anymore. And that scares me because that is what this world needs, is people
Yeah.
doing just helping each other to help each other, not for monetary, not for any other reason other than to help each other. And that's the way I was brought up. And we were talking off air about, how I had done something for my neighbors nice, and we were talking back and forth, and that's what we talked about, is neighbors are supposed to help each other. I mean, the one neighbor I gave some of the plants to, he does AC. I had this old beat-down AC in my house, and he would work on it all the time and not charge me except for the parts. What he paid for the parts, that's what he would charge me. Never charge me for labor, and he kept saying that's what neighbors are supposed to do. And that's what you're supposed to do, is help each other out, not charge for every little thing in life. Sorry about
No, I couldn't agree more about that. No, it's like what we're talking about, the politicization of football. With everything that's been going on, and you're completely correct, this whole thing has started about a year and a half or 2 years ago, and people reach a threshold where after a period of time they just want to turn it off and go to something else and just put their brain into neutral and cruise for a bit. And that's, I think, what the NFL, for example, doesn't understand. When you politicize everything else that's politicized, people have had enough of it, and they're going someplace else. They're going to read a book, or they're going to sit down and watch something else on TV, or they're going to go to the movies, or they're going to play a video game. They're not going to watch the NFL. They shouldn't be shocked.
Well, the NFL thought they had this, everybody was so hooked. Oh, we got them with the, what the hell are those fantasy football. And I was watching one, and they were like, oh, these guys are so hooked on fantasy football, they can't stop watching the NFL. They're just blowing smoke, and I'm sitting there watching the ratings go down and down. I'm like, you are challenging them now that they can't give up their fantasy football. You just challenged them. And they just suspended an announcer for 6 months because he said something. He alluded to that the Eagles should have put a bounty out on one player. Oh, my God, we can't have bounties on players anymore. Oh, my God, that's mean to do. What the So an announcer, because he alluded that a bounty should be put out on a player, he's now suspended for 6 months? Get real.
Well, it's part and parcel of the continuing pussification of America.
Yeah.
Guess what, ladies? Estrogen has its place. But just as estrogen has its place, so does testosterone. It's one of the reasons that we're raising an entirely new generation of people without fathers. The federal government started that in the 60s. We shouldn't be surprised that we are where we are now. When you minimize the importance of testosterone, when you minimize the importance of the male in the family and fathers, and you beat down young boys and boys in college, I'm so tired of this crap with women as such victims. It's gotten to the point where women aren't victims. They're the ones that are pulling degrees out of colleges. They're the ones that are getting professional jobs. It's just, don't hand me that shot. There are more men with prostate cancer than there are women with breast cancer. It's just, I'm sorry, I'm not buying a lot of it anymore.
I agree. It's absolutely mind-numbing. Mind-numbing.
The funny thing is, I was talking about a RICO charge, and it's no great shakes. I'm not revealing anything out of school that I used to work in law enforcement. I came across a particular article in a location where I get a great deal of my United States news across the pond in the UK, and I found an article that said, why didn't the FBI demand Clinton aides' phones and laptops? In the email probe, agency relied on Huma Abedin's own lawyers to tell them what was on their devices. It said the FBI never demanded laptops and smartphones from top Hillary Clinton aides as part of their investigation into her emails. Huma Abedin's lawyers gave the Justice Department, the State Department-related data that they had from her devices. They relied on her to tell them which devices held emails and other materials from the State Department. Yes, her estranged husband, Anthony Weiner, of course, we remember that he had that laptop that contained about 750,000 emails. And the FBI believes that some of them are Clinton-related. Some of them. I wonder. Some of them, yes.
It's not hard to go a search of, the HillaryClinton.com search. Oh, there's this many. It's not that hard of a search on that one. Even I can do that search.
Huma said, she doesn't have any idea how they got there. And it all starts when the FBI grabbed Anthony Weiner's laptop while they were looking into his online sexting relationship with a 15-year-old girl. It's interesting, the article says Hillary Clinton's senior State Department aides never gave their computers and smartphones to federal investigators for examination as part of the probe into the Democratic presidential nominee's emails because the FBI never asked for them. It's not because the line-level agents didn't want to. Don't you think that somebody from on high told them, or maybe, air quotes, suggested to them that they not do that? And that goes back to what I said earlier. As far as I'm concerned, Hillary, Bill, Loretta Lynch, the lovely Bill Comey, Huma Abedin, McCabe, the number 2 at the FBI, and Obama, let's throw him in for good measure, they're all worthy of a RICO investigation. Yeah. I said I can readily generate sufficient probable cause to suggest that Hillary and Bill and Lynch and Comey and Andrew McCabe and Huma Abedin and Anthony Weiner, good old Carlos Danger, Cheryl Mills, and Barack Obama should be charged under the RICO statutes. That's 18 U.S.C. 1961. It's a racketeer, influenced, and corrupt organization. It's the federal law that provides for extended criminal penalties and a civil cause of action for acts performed as part of an ongoing criminal investigation. And there are more than 35 crimes, 27 federal crimes and 8 state crimes, that if you commit within a 10-year period, you can be charged with racketeering. If they're charged, if they're related to one of 4 ways and manners that you're creating an enterprise, and those found guilty of racketeering under RICO, they can be fined up to, this is grand, they can be fined up to $25,000 and sentenced to 20 years in prison per racketeering count. I love that. So here's the deal. FBI Director Comey, back in July of this year, comes out and makes an excellent recitation for an indictment for Hillary Clinton, only to conclude at the very end that she didn't have the intent to do any of these things.
Well, I didn't intend to run that person over with my car either, but I could still go to jail for it.
Well, if someone is versed with criminal statutes, I've argued this ever since I heard this in July. There are 2 types of crimes. There are crimes of specific intent, and there are crimes of general intent. And so he said they didn't rise. She didn't have the intent to do that. Well, that means that it would have to be a crime of specific intent. And how do you determine whether a crime is that? That is to say, it's a crime of specific intent. The statute itself will tell you whether or not it's a crime of specific intent. And what each statute will say, whether you're talking about a California Penal Code or a Uniform Code of Military Justice, a UCMJ code, or a United States Code, It will say if it's a crime of specific intent, it'll say if you do blah, 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 with the intent to blah, 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 hey, hello, people, that's called a crime of specific intent. The crimes in which she could be charged, and there were numerous, were not such crimes. So, basically, Comey, once I heard that, the dude lied to me, and you were gone. You know, he could have recommended an indictment for Hillary Clinton. He could have suggested the impaneling of a grand jury.
At least a grand jury.
Yeah. Here's the deal. They also kicked him to the curb. Especially Lynch. They pretended to be professional, and they placed the decision right squarely at the feet of James Comey. And if you remember, Lynch said that I think it was back in July, right after he said that, or just before he made his announcement, she said she would accept whatever recommendation career prosecutors and the FBI director made. Well, of course, the fix was already in at that point, and all he did was read from the script. I think he threw in all the stuff and began to make us think that he was going in a particular direction, and basically ticked off all the talking points for making an indictment, and then concluded brain-glazingly in such a ridiculously stupid way, and then made the exact opposite conclusion. There were many and varied and enmeshed dots to make. You know, remember the meeting between Bill Clinton and A.G. Lynch in the airport? This is wonderful. The Judicial Watch has filed a Freedom of Information Act request for all the documents related to that meeting. They said that they met, it was merely coincidental. But it was a meeting. It was an update from Lynch to Bill Clinton. Here's what's going to happen. Here's how I'm going to protect your wife. And here is how I'm going to keep Bill Comey occupied, and I'm going to keep myself occupied and with jobs when Hillary Clinton becomes president. So the fix was most definitely in.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, I was going to bring up when you started talking about it, they filed that lawsuit, and I think they should. It's absolutely a disgrace of what Obama's administration has done to that once great institution of the Department of Justice. Not just what's happened to FBI. And I really think the FBI ought to be out on its own and not answering to anybody else. I think the agency...
No, it should be completely independent.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's proven itself not.
It becomes a political arm at that point when it's underneath
it becomes a political...
Like
it's not a political arm. It becomes a political weapon.
Political sword.
With a muzzle at the end pointed at the American taxpayer and pointed at those who are attempting to reveal the corruption that's endemic and rife throughout D.C. And I go back to last Friday. Last Friday is when we had all of this come out. It's almost a week ago. Tomorrow is Friday. It's almost been a week. And it was then that Comey decided that he was he rocked the world when he reopened the investigation into her secret server. And that was when he said that he and various aides and whatnot, they discovered email exchanges between Huma Abedin and Anthony Weiner because of the sexting event that occurred with a 15-year-old girl. And then once that went out, Hillary Clinton, her immediate response was 2 lies in a row. Number one, the letter that Comey sent out went only to Republicans. Number one, that's a lie. And then while I was out, I discovered this information only, as did you, because the Wi-Fi was out on our plane. Lie number 2, there was a journalist, only one, who had the balls to tell the truth at 11:34 hours on 10/28/2016. That was last Friday, and said, oh, oh, no, that's not true. The Wi-Fi is, in fact, on in the plane.
Yeah.
But I suspect they turned it off. So she's a pathological liar, period. End of statement. The letter was sent, in fact, to Republican members of the Congress and Democrat members of the Congress. It's just, that's her default position.
I'm going to say Hillary knew something like this might be coming down the pipe. I don't think it was such a shock that they say it is. I think they're planning, and I've said it all along, I believe Trump is up way in the polls, and she knows it. Because otherwise, why did her and Bill mysteriously, and it's being reported more and more, or they're trying to at least report it, that the Clintons have transferred $1.8 billion worth of their money, their personal money. I think it's to Qatar banks. Even the Qatar banks, whatever country it is in the Middle East, even the banks don't understand. The only thing it has in common is that these Middle Eastern countries that they got all this money got transferred to have no extradition to the United States. I think she knows something like that was coming down, and I think they're preparing to skip out after the election.
Well, it's a RICO for any number of continuing issues. You know, the FBI destroyed evidence in that agreement. They made an agreement to destroy the laptops of both of those Clinton aides.
I've never
Cheryl
heard
Mills
of FBI doing that.
and Heather Samuelson. We never did that. The Clinton campaign itself destroyed evidence when they literally smashed cell phones with hammers on sidewalks. Hillary's private server was eradicated with BleachBit. The originator of that said that the orders of BleachBit have skyrocketed since that information came out. Good on him. But he said there's only one reason for the application of that, and that's to wipe as much information as you can off the server. That's clearly indicative of a 180-degree view of what Clinton said. She's not there to help. She's there to eradicate. Notes that were released by the FBI indicate that Hillary couldn't recall any information and provided little, if any, cogent and valuable detail in the 3.5 hours she was interviewed. Agents never advised her of her rights. They didn't record the interview. They asked few, if any, really direct and pointed questions, and almost no follow-up questions. You know, when she said her health was bad, did any of the agents there say that, okay, well, where's your documentation for that? We'd like to see your doctor's notes, and if you're not interested in that, I think we can come up with some subpoenas to attempt them. You know, that was all about puffy little clouds and softballs. Recently, Angelina Jolie, she was interviewed by the FBI for 4 hours regarding alleged child abuse claims against Brad Pitt and their kids. So, wait a minute. They're taking a presidential candidate less seriously than they are an actress in Hollywood. I find that very hard to bite. I find that very hard to go with. And then Mr. McCabe's wife. Now, McCabe is the number 2 man at the FBI. His wife, named Jill, received $467,500 in campaign funds in 2015 from the PAC of Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe. And if you remember Terry McAuliffe, the governor there, is the person that said, you know, I think it's a great idea that felons should vote. So by the stroke of a pen, he decided that he was going to allow felons to vote in the wonderful Commonwealth of Virginia. Well, McCabe became the number 2 man at the FBI because of the deputy director post. And when he got into that role, he magically started overseeing the probe into Clinton's use of a private email server when she was Secretary of State. Well, wait, his wife is already getting money from the Democrats. Doesn't anybody think immediately of that phrase, conflict of interest? Or do we do this now at the government? Do we hire people, pay them large salaries, and install them into positions of massive power who have no idea what conflict of interest is? They're completely blind to ethics, but they're tone deaf as well. You know, McCabe should have trotted in the moment that occurred when he was placed in charge of the Clinton investigation and verbally advised his director, Comey, and then followed it up with paperwork and documentation. I am recusing myself from this particular investigation, and here's why. You know, and it just got absolutely stinkier and stinkier. But the deal was, all these letters, just as people were telling me, resignation letters were piling up on Comey's desk. People wouldn't talk to him in the halls anymore. His wife, Pat, told him, "You're going to have to make it right. You're going to have to do something." So then when this thing fell into his lap, he decided, well, all right, I think I can do something else. But see, here's the deal. His decision to reopen that case was more than an effort to sort of heal the wound, the self-inflicted gunshot wound on the FBI. He's worried that after the presidential election, Republicans in Congress are going to mount some kind of a probe as to how he granted Hillary political favoritism. That's what's going to happen. When he announced that he revived the investigation back then, last Friday, 11 days before the election, trust me, Lynch and Obama went 210 over 190 with him. They absolutely went nuts on him.
It's absolutely amazing. I hate to cut you off, and I know you got to run, but it's also that time for those evil breaks we got to take.
Evil breaks.
Yes, evil breaks. You want to give your information before you get going so people can find you?
Thank you. You bet. Thank you kindly for the opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, taxpayers included, you can find me at bloviatingzeppelin.net. And if you're so inclined to tweet, I am on Twitter at BZEP, B-Z-E-P. Thank you once again, Jersey Joe. Thank you so kindly for allowing me on your radio show. Sir.
Anytime. So, I know this weekend I'm going to be getting a lot of rest because Tuesday night's going to be hectic here at SHR. We're going to have massive coverage. So, you've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Network, Red Nation Rising Radio, YouTube Speaker, and iTunes. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cough for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to reaver.1/shop. So, I'm sitting here kind of snickering. Because I got the news on, and I see Hillary speeches, and they're talking about Hillary's speech. And I watched some of them yesterday. And it's Hillary Clinton screaming and yelling at everybody. She's lecturing the American people. She's spewing the same crap over and over and over. It's that whole, I'm going to throw the kitchen sink. The kitchen sink at Trump to see what sticks. And it's the same tired, he said mean things. She talks about Alicia Machado, or whatever the hell the woman's name is. She was a Miss Universe. She signed contracts that to be a part of the Miss Universe, she had to have a certain body type. And that's the funny thing. They're complaining about Trump because during a Miss Universe that they go after and agreed that they will keep a certain body figure during their reign as Miss Universe. Or Miss America, whatever. And it is a business model at that point. That's all Hillary has on him. She don't talk about his policies. It's her feelings. And the paid trolls are out in drove. They are trying. They are doing everything they can to try. But it's not working. They're back to the tired, Donald Trump's going to get put in jail in December. I've heard from November to December, next week, last week. It changes to whichever troll. He's going to get, the judge is going to throw him in jail on some rape charges. What they don't tell people is that it's a civil lawsuit that was filed against Trump. And it's been dismissed out of the court system twice. Not once. Twice the case has been thrown out. Nobody knows who the woman is because it's filed under Jane Doe. They even tried to say that the woman was going to come out and give an interview, but she's death threats. She's getting so many death threats, she can't come forward. Even though nobody knows who the fuck the woman is. So how is she getting death threats? That's really amazing. I mean, they are just throwing mud everywhere, and hopefully something sticks. I've said it before, and they just keep looking worse and worse with it. They look like a dying animal lashing out on its death knell. And that's what the Clinton campaign looks like. You have Trump speaking nice and calm. He was making the joke, I think it was yesterday, of Trump, stay on message. They want me to stay on message. Focus, folks. It was funny. I took it as funny. Another thing that I find extremely comical is if Trump makes an offhand comment, everybody freaks out, and the pathway to Trump is calling for the assassination of Hillary Clinton path is ridiculous. And next thing you know, Secret Service and FBI are investigating. But multiple times now, I have heard for the assassination of Donald Trump. And it's, I was making a joke. Everybody calm down. They can make the joke. It's okay. Anybody else making an anywhere near the ballpark, same state comment, they need to drop out of the race. Yeah. The left is falling apart. They really need to look at themselves very deeply. It's it's not looking good. It is. I would not be surprised Trump wins and the Clintons bolt the fuck out of this country. I could see him. I could see him getting out of there. Yeah, I think I gotta cut a promo. I think I can. It's yeah, haven't done a new one in a while, so I guess I'll do that after the show. Microsoft is now saying that the Russians are hacking Windows 10. Oh my God. Russia. Listen. Do I think Russia is not having some kind of cyber warfare on the United States? Of course they are. My head hurts. So, in a recent survey, it shows that Donald Trump supporters are more tolerant, open-minded, respectful, and understanding than are the Hillary Clinton divisive supporters in her coalition of ethnic, sexual, professional, and progressive factions. Clinton backers, particularly highly educated ones, have more difficulty respecting Trump supporters than the other way around. The data is a mirror image of the media magnified portrayal of Trump supporters that Democrat partisans have constructed throughout the 2016 campaign. That image has been fostered by undercover Democratic groups which use extensive funding to arrange camera-ready fights at Trump rallies. By Clinton's scripted eagerness to portray Trump supporters are irredeemably or insanely hostile to gays, migrant, foreigners, and Islamic believers, and by the media's eagerness to showcase conflict at Trump's rally. But in Pew's data shows that 6 in 10 registered voters who back Clinton, and it's to be exact 58%, say they have a hard time respecting someone who supports Trump for president. 40% say they have no trouble with it. Nearly the opposite is true with Trump supporters, with 56% saying they have no trouble respecting someone who backs Clinton, 40% saying they do have trouble with it. That's a 17-point tolerance difference between the two parties. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump holds a campaign rally at the Bank of Colorado Arena. Oops, sorry. Overreading, not paying attention to what I'm reading. Side notes. The party of tolerance has been dead for a while. The only thing they are tolerant of is themselves. They used to be saying that they were the party of choice, but you better choose what they want or they will not tolerate it. The pro-Clinton group that has the most difficulty tolerating their political rivals are white women, many of whom are universally educated. Pew's poll showed that 68% of this group have a hard time respecting Trump supporters. Also, 66% of all Clinton women supporters with college qualifications have a hard time respecting Trump supporters. In contrast, 53% of Clinton's non-college female supporters say they have a hard time reconciling with Trump supporters. There's little difference between the various groups of Trump supporters except for age. The least tolerant Trump group are men older than 65, but only 45% of them say they have a hard time respecting Clinton supporters. See, what it comes down to is the people that are backing Trump, for the most part, believe in the United States Constitution. We understand and believe that your choice of who you support for political office is your right, God-given right. It is your freedom of speech. I say it all the time. I may not agree, but I never tell people how to vote because that's not my place. That is your right to vote for who you want. Do I talk pro about Trump? Yes. I still have a right to talk about why I back a candidate, why I think that candidate's better. Do I point out the negatives about Hillary? Fuck yeah, I do. But I don't tell people how to vote because that is your place, not mine. And that's the difference. I believe in the Constitution. You believe in trampling the Constitution. The left has militarized almost their supporters. They have these people brainwashed. They have them brainwashed that it's their way and their way only. There is no other view. It's scary. It is absolutely. And Hillary pushes that. She pushes it. I've said it before. She's the one that is attacking the supporters. And she thinks by attacking the supporters, we're going to back away. No, that is not going to happen. She's just... That is not going to happen, Hillary. You are pushing people. The one that's being dark and divisive, the one that is dividing this country is Hillary. The left is the one splitting this country. It's Hillary says motto is I'm with her. Now that's pretty ballsy. All I got to say is, God, I'm tired of musicians and celebrities shooting their mouths off. Roger Waters, who was a co-founder for the great group Pink Floyd, but he also got run out of his own band because of his Nazi-like style of running the band. So he's running his mouth and saying National Trumpism as dangerous as Hitler's National Socialism. So us caring about our country is bad. Oh. Hi, Cal. I seem to remember all the issues that were going on in Pink Floyd as the man was power crazed and acting like a totalitarian police state within the band. So this man is the last person that needs to open his mouth. It is ridiculous. I'm floored. And he's not the only one. We have a bunch of celebrities out there that are running their mouths and threatening, I'm going to leave the country if Trump's elected. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Seriously. You don't like it here? Well, make sure you do not work and take in an American paycheck after you leave. And I'm serious. You want to leave? Make sure that you don't take any job, any acting job that has to deal with an American company that's going to have a major American release. And I'm really wondering if the American people will pay to see your movies if you do run and leave the country. And even if you don't, you're going to look like, well, you're blowing smoke out of your ass. Now, someone put a great article that said, Dear Hollywood celebrities, you exist for my entertainment. And it's not that celebrities aren't allowed an opinion, but to try to force your opinions onto us and make threats that you are going to leave, that's where I draw the line. And to say just because you're a good actor or actress or a great singer, that does not mean you know what the hell you're talking about with politics. And it went on, Dear Hollywood celebrity, you exist for my entertainment. Some of you are great eye candy. Some of you can deliver a line with such conviction that you bring tears to my eyes. Some of you can scare the crap out of me. Others make me laugh. But you all have one thing in common. You only have a place in my world to entertain me. That's it. You make your living pretending to be someone else, playing dress up like a 6-year-old. You live in a make-believe world in front of a camera, and often when you're away from one too. Your entire existence depends on my patronage. I'll crank the organ grinder, you dance. I don't really care where you stand on issues. Honestly, your stance matters far less to me than that of my neighbor. You see, you aren't real. I turn off my TV or shut down my computer, and you cease to exist in my world. Once I am done with you, I can put you back in your little box until I want you to entertain me again. I don't care that you don't like Mr. Trump, but I bet you look cute saying it. Get back into your bubble. I'll let you know when I'm in the mood for something blue and shiny. And I'm also supposed to care that you will leave this great country if Trump becomes president? Ha. Please don't forget to close the door behind you. We'd like to reserve your seat for someone who loves this country and really wants to be here. Make me laugh or cry, scare me, but realize that the only words of yours that matters are scripted. I might agree with some of you from time to time, but it doesn't matter. In my world, you exist solely for my entertainment. So, shut your pie hole and dance. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense. We'll be right back after this brief message.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. And we also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cough for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the Unpleasant Blind Guide. because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeovers here we have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want a great t-shirt, a kick-ass t-shirt, go to reaver.1/shop. Or just go to reaver.1 and hit the shop button. And I'm sure you can figure it out from there. The number 4 trending in the United States, number 3 now, is Hillary indictment. I'm telling you, come Tuesday, I see a landslide sweep. A landslide sweep coming for Trump and the Republicans. It is, without a doubt, oh my God. So I put up a video, and I don't know. It was interesting that a shot of tequila every day is good. It's got some health benefits, got probiotics, all this other stuff. So one of my asshole friends, I love him to death, he puts up there, knowing how much tequila you drank in your early 20s, you should be set for life. Thanks, brother. Thanks a lot. He's not lying, but damn. He drank just as much, too. He's the one that introduced me to Captain Morgan's rum. Asshole. I just gotta laugh. It's funny. And me and my friends, if we weren't busting each other's chops, we would think something was wrong. So, Lord, another one is typing on that comment. Email suggests possible illegal coordination between Clinton campaign and super PACs. We got a goddamn video of it. We know there was illegal activities. Hang on. Me and my buddy drank enough MGD and Captain Morgan's. If that was healthy for you, we drank enough for the world over twice. But to say that email suggests possible illegal coordination is an absolute joke. We have a video of collusion between Clinton campaign and super PACs. And it's funny that it's Democrats are the ones that are breaking the rules, and it's those that same party that pushed for these laws in the first place. The other thing that's making me laugh right now is if Hillary is so confident that she is going to win, she's so confident that she's scheduling fireworks, why is she scrambling? 12 bottles of beer a day helps keep the doctor away? Yeah, because she can't drive to the doctor after that. If she is so confident, why is she running to Michigan, Arizona, Pennsylvania? She is just running in panic. You hear the panic in her voice, literally. I think, I don't know. We'll see, Ernie. I don't think she's as safe as the world or as the mainstream media wants to make her seem. We've seen the videos of Democrat pollsters colluding with talking about lying about the polls. It's just funny. She is in Florida screaming for early voting. Literally, she has been screaming at her rallies, going nuts. And it's not exactly funny. See if I can find it. Video. Hang on. This woman is screaming. And it just boggles my mind how you can do that. Dang. Had it yesterday. It's funny how it's missing. Find it yesterday. Now today. Here it is.
And you know, I am sick and tired of the negative, dark, divisive, dangerous vision and behavior of people who support Donald Trump. Of the negative, dark, divisive, dangerous vision and behavior of people who support Donald Trump. Tired of the negative, dark, divisive, dangerous vision and behavior.
That's what I want my candidate out there screaming at me. Attacking the other supporters. How the fuck is that woman going to govern and lead us when she hates us? How will she govern us? And yes, she sounds like a banshee. I mean, that's putting it nicely. It just. And then you have. Let's listen to Mr. Trump right now.
15%. We will also cancel billions in global warming payments to the United Nations. Billions and billions.
This is Trump right now speaking.
And use that money to support America's environmental and national infrastructure. By the way, folks, we're sending billions and billions of dollars. We're making our companies non-competitive. Other companies throughout the world are killing us. And other countries don't adhere to whatever they're supposed to do. But we're sending all of this money. Here's what we want. We want crystal clean water. We want immaculately clean air. And we want great safety. Above that, folks, let's go to town and let's employ a lot of people. We're going to spend a lot of money on our infrastructure, including the deepening, which you need, of the harbor at Jackport. Do we all know Jackport? We will become a rich nation once again, but to...
Which one sounds more presidential? It just... I'm stupefied.
Negative, dark, divisive, dangerous vision and behavior.
We ever, go in there quietly, secretly, and do the job, right? Remember I said the element of surprise?
Sick and tired of the negative, dark, divisive
situation. 4 months ago, we're going into Mosul.
I hate to I'm sorry. I know it's probably a little boring here. I mean, think about it. Which one sounds more presidential? Which one, as Hillary loves to say, do you want having the finger on the nuclear button? It's not because I'm a Trump supporter. Why I'm a Trump supporter? Because he sounds more rational. She sounds like a pissed off, entitled. I'll leave it there. My next words, I would have got told I was a sexist. Oh, so I saw an interview with Ivanka Trump. I think it's Ivanka. And Megan was asking her, how does she deal with her dad attacking women, yada, yada, yada. And Ivanka turns around and says, I don't like it when my dad does it with men. I don't like it when he does it with women. But my dad treats both women and men the same. He goes after men with the exact same ferocious attitude. He believes that both can be treated equal, that he doesn't have to treat one with kid gloves while the other one he can speak freely about. And I love it because it was a Megyn Kelly interview and she just sat there with her mouth open because there was nothing to argue back. These women want equal treatment, but they want to be treated with kid glove. You can't say that to a woman. What? A woman can't handle it? A woman can handle it. So can a man. It's words, people. Words. Trust me, I've had a lot of them spewed at me over the years. And I've had a lot of liberals make a lot of violent comments toward me, my family, just because of the show I do. So, they're words, people. Grow the fuck up. You know, me and my wife joke about it all the time. Women have balls too. They're internal. And technically, medically, that is right. Ovaries are testicles. Testicles are ovaries. Just when you're a little itty bitty speck, one develops inside, the other one develops outside. So the term men with the balls, women have them too, they're internal. Which is kind of actually smarter. We wear ours on the outside, which less protection. Women have them internally and can protect them easier than men. Will I protect a woman? Yes. That's the way I was brought up. Does that mean women are weaker than me? Hell no. I don't even want to think about childbirth. Fuck that. I would never want to go through that. If it was up to me, the human race would end. I also know medically that women deal with pain better than men. The body has evolved for childbirth to be able to take pain better than men. Men are better at some things. Women are better at some things. But I'm tired of the feminist movement that wants to be treated equal, but then wants special treatment. They want to be treated equal, but then bitch about a man if he verbally goes at him the same way he would a male counterpart. I'm tired of the left dismissing Hillary's criminal activity as just a mistake. Breaking the law is not a mistake. Putting our national security at risk is not a mistake. A mistake is, oh man, I wanted a Sprite, not a ginger ale. Oh, that's a mistake I'll learn not to do again. A mistake is not, let me go around national security. I want to get around transparency, so I'm going to put a email server in my house, in my bathroom, so that I can get around not reporting my activity. That is not a mistake. That is an intentional breaking of the law. She intentionally did it. She intentionally bribed people. She intentionally sold uranium to Russia. Those are not mistakes. Coming into this country does not mean you're undocumented. It means you are a fucking criminal. And when you come in here legally, great. Welcome to the American dream. And for those celebrities that talked about that you're going to leave, great. Bye-bye, bitches. I'll take some immigrants that come here legally that want to go after the American dream. They can have your spot. I'm not impressed by the left. I'm not impressed with these weak words they try to use to justify law breaking. Because let me tell you, especially being a white male, if I go out there and overstep the line, oh, am I going to hear it? And I don't get to say to a judge, well, it was a mistake, Your Honor. I didn't intentionally try to break the law. I didn't intentionally do X, Y, and Z. It's that old expression, ignorance is no excuse. I'm flabbergasted. And as we talked about at the beginning of the show with BZ, there needs to be a RICO investigation, top to bottom, of the Democrat Party. Period. There is a solid case for a RICO act against not just the Clinton Foundation, not just Hillary Clinton. The Democrat Party is involved in this whole mess. When they tried to help cover it up, when they tried to help elect Clinton by hook or crook, they became complicit in an overall scheme. Whether they knew it or not, they became involved in a larger criminal enterprise. It's like if I buy a TV that I know is stolen, I may not realize that the mafia killed a driver over it, but there is a possibility I might get charged in the murder of that driver because I bought that TV knowing it was stolen. You can't claim ignorance. And these politicians piss me off nowadays when all we hear is, I don't remember and I plead the Fifth. I think the Fifth Amendment should be for citizens. Politician and government workers, no, you should not be able to plead the Fifth. Or, I don't remember. But Hillary can tell you exactly what Trump had for breakfast 30 years ago on any given day. She can remember that, but she can't remember her own actions. If you can't remember your own actions, then you're not qualified to be president. If you can't remember that you ordered the deletion of emails on your own server, and you can't remember, you're not fit to be president. You're not fit to be dog catcher. And think of this. Hillary Clinton got the questions to a couple of the debates. Imagine if you have children, or even when you were in school, if you got the questions on a test. Think what happened to you. That's called cheating. Think of what happened if you gave those questions to your friends to help them. You'd be lucky if you're not expelled from the school. We got grade school children that are held to a higher standard than a presidential candidate. And that's scary as hell. And I'm going to leave you with that thought till tomorrow. Thank you for being here. I appreciate everybody. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.